Today we're going to be working on a 1992 Suzuki Samurai rear differential, and what we're going to be installing is a Spartan locker, which is a ratcheting style locker, and that's better for more daily driving use and stuff. And it's not necessarily a full spool, but it still locks them rear wheels in whenever you get in kind of a tight spot. So we're going to get started here. Move the camera down a little bit. I've done got my stump out here, and as you can see, and we're going to take these little locking tabs off here. And these aren't side specific, but I always like to keep them. Everything that comes off the left side on this side, everything comes off the right side on this side. And just kind of keeps everything kind of nice and organized. You're going to need a size 17 millimeter, and that's going to take these carrier bolts off. And this might be stuck on there a little bit. Just stick your bolts in there. Just kind of pop it loose like that. This is your backlash adjuster. Another backlash adjuster. And we have two races. That race goes there, that race goes there. And here is your stump. This is it in all its glory. You're done with this for now, so we'll just kind of slide it out of the way, give us more room. And these bolts right here to take your carrier gear off is a 14 millimeter. So we're going to switch out our sockets here and go ahead and take that off there. This is your carrier gear, and normally I just get the bolts, throw them right in there, slide it to the side. Now you're going to want to flip this upside down. You're going to have everything here. These bolts come off, and this is a cap, and these are 12 millimeters. So we're going to switch our sockets again. All these. Look at there. Just going to toss them right down in there like that. Slide that to the side. Now this is what it's going to look like whenever you get it all apart and everything. Just going to look like a clobbled up mess of gears and stuff. Don't be afraid. There's going to be a little shim right here, right on this top gear. You'll see it as soon as you pull it off. It might, I have seen them, be stuck right here on the bottom side of this. But just know that that shim is there. You don't need this after you install the locker. So we're just going to throw it in this box right here, because you don't need it. And here's our differential side gear, and just as I suspected with noises and stuff, this gear is actually broken, as you can see here, and it's also got a lot of wear and tear on the gear. So that gear is obviously junk. Can't use that. You're going to have 3 pins in here. This is a 92, so it may vary with the trackers and stuff of that nature. Sometimes my fingers are kind of hard, so I use that locking tab from the beginning of the video. There's 1 pin, and that'll take out that spider gear. There's a shim behind the spider gear, so don't forget to get that out of there. Goes right like that. But you don't need these. So just whenever you get them out, just throw them out. There's another pin. And there's another spider gear. There's another pin. You do want to save this. This is the cross hatch for the spider gears. You'll have 4 spider gears in total to get out. I got that wedge down in there. You'll have 4 spider gears to get out that you don't need because they're junk. But you want to save this because your pins, when they go through your spider gears, they sit in there like so. And that's what holds everything in place. Now, I've ordered new pins, so I don't need these. You can reuse them. And you can also reuse these side gears. Also, of course, these are broken. And there's also a shim on this side too. Can't really get it off, but there it is. A shim on this side, just as there was on the top one. And as you can see here, this one is cracked also, and was on the verge of snapping off, just like the first one was. So we throw them out, and now you got a nice clean housing. And we're going to start the reassembly part. Remember those shims I told you to get out of there? You do not need those. So, I'm just going to get a little bit of lube here. I'm using Lube Guard Assembly Lube. And we're just going to kind of ride that. Just a little bit of lube on there. So, make sure it spins freely. And as you can see here, it just spins down in there like so. These gears are also 26 spline. I know there's some people say you can use the front ones out of a 92 and put in the rear. From what I've seen, every single one of them I've seen, they've been 23 spline in the front and 26 spline in the back. But I've heard on the older models, I've never owned an older model, they rebuilt an older model. I've heard on the older models that they, you can use the fronts for the backs, but after you put this gear in there, you're going to get your first part of your locker here. And I've done got these pins stuck down in there. But these pins come out, and there's a spring that comes with your kit. And you'll stick your spring down in there, and you'll stick this in there. This little dowel pin here. And it should do that little number right there. That's what you want. You'll stick this in down toward the gear. Right like that. And should spin freely. Then your kit that you order, you'll probably get these 2 spacers here, big old washers. And you're probably wondering, where do them go? Well, we're going to drop that right down in there like that. Right down in there on top of that gear facing. So how that's sitting is it's sitting like this on top of that gear. And then your locker is sitting like that. That's how that's sitting down in there. After you get that in there, you're going to get your little crosshatch here, and you're going to stick it on top of the washer, like this. So this is what you should have now inside of your stunt. Once you get that down in there, you're going to get your pins, and you can reuse your old ones. I just ordered new ones. And you're going to stick them in there just how it come apart, like so. And that's going to hold that bottom locker, bottom gear. There we go. That's going to hold that bottom locker and bottom gear in there. But be careful. Don't move this around a whole lot, because these pins ain't held in there. They just slide in and out. So you don't want to lose anything. Typically what I do is, on these springs and stuff, I get grease, the lube guard, and I put that grease down in there, and that holds everything together. Yeah, right like that. Don't take much. Then this is going to go like that, pin side down. And there's little notches you can see here on this one. These pins are going to sit in the notches on the opposite side. So we're going to drop that down in there. And you can kind of see, you can kind of feel it click in whenever you know you make it down in there. Make sure you kind of got the spring action going. That's what you want. Now, like we did on the first gear, this gear is going to sit upside down. So your washer has to go in first. And then we're going to stick our gear in there like that. And it's going to be like so. Now just like on the first gear, we're going to get some grease here. We're going to go around